Hello friends, today I will be telling you how to solve questions of array. Now this video is for one-dimensional array only. For 2D array, I'll be making another video. So please subscribe my channel. Now this question I have taken from 2015 CBSE board question paper and it carries 2 marks. So let us begin. Now the question is, write the definition of a function alter. Argument is given as array and the size of array n in C++, which should change all the multiple of 5 in the array to 5 and rest of the element as 0. For example, if an array of 10 integer is as follows, so total 10 elements are given in this array, and if the element is this, so at the end of the program, the array should store 5050 this way. That means when the element is a multiple of 5, it should store 5, and if the element is not a multiple of 5, it should store 0. So for such kind of programs, whenever we are writing a program for array, we always have to use a loop. Now why we have to use a loop is, array has more than one element of same data type. So to access the elements of those arrays, we have to run a loop and access each element one by one. So in each run, each element will be accessed. So we have to take a loop for this. We have to run a loop to access the element and then to change the values of those array element. Now let us begin. As it is given, the name of the function is already given in the question, but the return type is not given. So we are taking void as the return type and the same arguments. So our function definition will be void alter and both the arguments as given in the question paper. So now we have to start our function definition by opening the curly brace. Now our next line of coding will be, we have to run a loop to access the element. So here we are taking a for loop. Now in this for loop, we are taking a loop variable as I and we are initializing that loop variable with 0. Now why we are initializing the loop variable with 0 is, the first element of any array, the index of first element is always 0. And the last element index is always size of array minus 1. Here, as there are 10 elements in this array, so the last element will have 10 minus 1 index, that is 9 index. And the size of the array we are taking as an argument, which is n. So the test condition we are keeping as I should be less than n. That means I should be less than 10 because we want it till 9. And increment operator we are using to increment the loop variable. Now inside this for loop, we have to put a test condition. Now this test condition will test each element of the array. Now for testing for writing a test condition, we have to use if. Now inside this if, we are putting a condition that if your array element when divided by 5 and the remainder is 0, this is a modulus operator which is used to get the remainder of when divided by any element. Now we are putting a condition that if this element when divided by 5 will generate remainder as 0, then what should happen? Then what we want is, we want to replace that element with 5 in our case, in our question. So what we are doing is, we are using an assignment operator and we are saving, instead of the element, we are saving 5 in that particular index. Now, as you know, this assignment operator is used to assign value to any variable. The value which is given to the right side of this assignment operator is always assigned or stored in the variable which is there in the left hand side of this assignment operator. Now, our question is, if the element is not a multiple of 5, then the element should store 0 in such cases. So that is why we have to use else part of if. So we have to write else. Now in this else what we are doing is we are assigning 0 to that particular index where the element is not a multiple of 5. So for that we have to write coding a of I, we are assigning 0 to that element. And after this what we are doing, we have to close this. So here we are closing our curly brace. Now this is the complete definition of our function. Now let me explain you by explaining in each run how the values are assigned and how will this coding run. So when it is our first run of our loop, the value of our loop variable is 0, as we are initializing this loop variable with 0, and the size of our n is 10. So the test condition becomes in our first run when 0 is less than 10, as this condition is true. Why? Because 0 is always less than 10. As the test condition is true, compiler will enter inside the for. Now the condition checking is if a of I in our case, a of I is 0. So a of 0 is 55 in our case. So when 55 divided by 5 and the remainder is 0, here also the condition is true. So what should happen? A of 0 should be assigned as 5. 5 should be assigned to this a of I. That means a of 0th index 5 should be stored in our case. So instead of this 55, 5 will be stored here, or 5 will replace this 55 here. As it is a variable, the values are replaced. Now our loop variable will be incremented by 1 because of this I++. In our second run, what happens? I's value will be I is equal to 1. As 1 is less than 10, this condition is also true. So compiler will enter inside the loop and will test the condition again. Now if a of 1 is 43. 43 when divided by 5 will give the remainder as 0. This condition is false here. So compiler will not enter the if block. So it will not execute this line as this condition is false. So when this condition is false, it will enter in the else part and it will execute whatever is written for this else part. So here it is written a of I 0 should be assigned. So in a of 0, 0 will be assigned, and here instead of 43 it will become 0 in our second run. Now in third run, again I is equal to 2, 2 is less than 10, which is also true, and 20 is stored in a of 2. 20 divided by 5, remainder is 0, that is true. So instead of this a of 2, where 20 was stored, 5 will be stored in our third run. Now in fourth run, 3 is less than 10 is also true, but the if condition becomes false here, so 0 will be stored in a of 3. Here 0 will be stored. In our fifth run, where i's value will be changed to 4. 39 when divided by 5, remainder is not 0. This condition becomes false and 0 will be stored in a of 4. So here it will be 0. Now in our sixth run, i's value will be 5. 90 divided by 5, remainder 0. The condition is true. So here 5 will be stored in instead of this 90. Now in seventh run, 83 divided by 5, remainder is 0. No, it is not like that. So the condition is false and 0 will be stored in a of 6, which was 83, will become 0. Now 8th run, i's value will be changed to 7 because of increment operator. 40 modulus 5 is 0. The condition is true. So 5 will be stored in instead of this 40. Next run, which is 9th run, value is 8 and the element is 48. 48 divided by 5, remainder 0, the condition becomes false. So 0 will be stored here instead of 48. So in 10th run, for the last element, which is the 10th run, i's value is 9. 9 is less than 10 is also true. This condition is true. So 25 modulus 5, 0. Condition is true again. So compiler will enter here and a of 9, where 25 was stored, 5 will be stored there. Now again the value of loop variable is 9 in our case, will be incremented by 1 and it becomes 10 in our case. Now in our 11th run, I is equal to 10 and the test condition is 10 less than 10. As you can see, this condition is wrong. Why this condition is wrong? Because 10 is not less than 10. 10 is equal to 10. So when the condition is false, compiler will not enter inside the loop. Compiler enters any block only if the condition, compiler enters the loop only when the test condition is true. So here the loop will break and so our final elements will be 5, 0, 5, 0, 0, 5, 0, 5, 0 and 5. So this is how we solve any question related to array. Now in next video I'll be telling you how to solve a question of 2D array. Now thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel.